If you'll identify yourself for the record, who you represent, you may begin your testimony.
I'm Thurlo Cobb. I represent a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old nephew and niece, as well as I'm the oldest of 4 boys who did grow up in the Little Rock area and are products of a public school education. And so I am for the bill for several reasons, but number one is this. I understand that no matter what bill we pass or don't pass, okay, that still does not make a difference in the situation of unengaged students or unengaged parents. First of all, we have to start there to solve a lot of the problems we're discussing today. A bill won't do that. Now, what a bill can do is to improve the situation of the status quo. You've got some rock star, kicktail public school systems and schools all over the state that are really doing a great job. And in fact, people are voting with their feet, voting with driving their kids 30 minutes across town, an hour across to get them to those schools. Then there's some that are just not getting the job done. And when I go out into various communities, I work in the financial industry and I also volunteer with Jumpstart, which is an organization that advances financial literacy for youth. And we're in a lot of schools, okay? In a lot of schools. And when I'm in an 11th grade or 12th grade class, and there's maybe 20, 25 students, and no one can within 30 seconds to a minute tell me what 72 divided by 9 is without going on their calculator, that's a problem, okay? So what is the solution? The bill is not gonna fix everything at one time. In fact, this may just be step one of many, okay? But what does it do? Well, is teacher pay raises at whatever level a good thing or a bad thing? Well, in my opinion, it's a good thing. Now, does it need some work? It sounds like we may need to do some tweaking there, but that's a good thing. That's providing more resources, like the reading coaches and all the other resources that are going to be around the state to enhance education, enhance literacy. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think that's a good thing. Does making sure that we look at performance as a way to create competition. See, it's not just about public school versus private school. It's also public school versus public school. Are these guys getting it done? Are these guys getting it done? It's not always going to be everybody's going to leave public school and run to homeschool and charter schools and that kind of thing. Competition is a great thing. But last but not least, here's what I've been hearing all day today. The number one key sticking point, both sides, is the concerns about the finances. Don't get me wrong, because I work in the financial industry. Money is very important. But what I have not heard enough of today, in my opinion, okay, is what about students and parents? Now, here's the deal. Without great educators in place, properly equipped, properly funded, they need the tools they need to do what they need to do. But if we're not putting students and parents number one in this process, I think we're missing the aim of the bill. Can it be tweaked and made better? Yes. But saying no, is that going to get our situation better across the state? In my opinion, is no. I'm open for questions.
Right. Any questions for Representative Flowers? You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Cobb, you were, in your remarks earlier, you said that sounds like there may need to be some tweaking. What are some of those tweaks that you think need to be made? Absolutely, absolutely. So it sounds like there's some concerns about exactly how do you reward educators on the more experienced end of their career to be able to feel like they still had incentive to achieve. That's something everybody should be looking at. That's a great thing. Does that mean kill the bill? No. It means work to make those tweaks. This is not law yet. That's why we're having this here today. Right. That's why everybody's here today. See, killing the bill means we just do nothing. And doing nothing doesn't advance us. Now, are the things in this bill that are good? Because I've heard just about everybody here say, there's a lot of stuff I like. Okay, well, great. Let's put that stuff in and let's make whatever tweaks we need to make. But hey, let's do something, because inaction means another 10 or 15 years of lost kids. I'm the oldest of 4 boys. I have a younger brother that I know for a fact. Now, I don't know what those choices would have been, but having some additional choices would definitely help them achieve better academically. When I'm out and about in communities, sitting down at the kitchen table with families, we're always having discussions like this. Not just the last couple of years, I'm talking over the last decade. I'm a minority, if you couldn't tell,
Okay? But here's the deal. When I'm sitting down with a lot of minority families, we're just having a one-on-one discussion, they're like, wow, I don't know, I'm at my wit's end. I wish we lived in this town 20 minutes away or whatever, because I know the schools are better there, but it's a difficulty. At least this bill gets us moving in the right direction. Inaction gets us nowhere.
Follow-up?
Yes.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you were saying, you said that we didn't need to kill the bill, that there's a process in place, but I'm wondering what your thoughts might be if those tweaks were not made at all, and or if there were other things that needed to be tweaked that you weren't aware of. Would you still feel like it would be the responsibility of this committee to move it out anyway?
I'm going to use an analogy, if you'll allow me, to answer that question. If I'm hungry and I haven't eaten for a couple days, and someone places a hamburger in front of me, okay? Now, personally, I don't like cheese on my burger, okay? Just me, my personal preference. But if I haven't eaten for a couple days, burger in front of me, don't like cheese, but I do like burgers. Maybe don't like pickles, okay? But I do like burgers. If there's no other option, at least like that better option better than not eating. What I'm feeling when I'm talking to a lot of folks in the communities I serve is that an imperfect bill moving in the right direction is better than nothing taking place and nothing ever changing. Again, I just turned 50 years old. I grew up in public education. I'm the oldest of 4 boys. There were things that were broken then that have not been fixed. And I'm not saying this bill is going to fix all that, but it definitely is a step in the right direction.
Representative Hodges, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You mentioned, I'm over here. You mentioned the tweak that you might suggest be made, and a few others have references as well, veteran teachers. Are you aware that the bill, as it's been amended, does still require districts to have a salary schedule so that veteran teachers would still be able to receive an increase over time, and that the districts would have that flexibility to decide what that salary schedule would be?
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Well, what it sounds like there was a concern from some of the educators here is as to some of the specifics of that. So I'm just saying it just warrants to be able to, just kind of look at that and see if there's some improvements could be made. Maybe not. But again, the point I'm making is at least that's why we're here talking today. So that if there's some minor adjustments, whatever that might be, I'm not sure what that would be, but if those minor adjustments can be made, then hey, let's talk about that and make this something that's as good as it can be for everybody. No one's going to like all 15 toppings on the pizza, okay? You're going to have one you want to pull off. But what I'm saying is not eating is also not an option.
Just want to clarify. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Representative Flowers, did you want back in? No? Okay. Mr. Cobb, thank you very much for your testimony.